This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
We can play your games, but I can never see me lose. And I've been checking out your moves. You will slip and slide, but I can always catch your groove. I've been hurt before and saw you inside me. Pulling on my heart, all the strings will fly, see. You can take the cake and just icing. Blow so quick, never fuck with the Pisces. But I learned quick. We could change shape in a tick. With a broken heart and nights apart, I'm wide awake and I'm just still thinking about you, baby. I've been doing all I can, and baby, I'm not built to fight like on the daily. But you know I just need a little training, and now I'm with it too much.
Following program is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, I think we have established that a long time ago. It does not matter who the host is. What has always mattered is who the listeners are. Anyways, today is Friday, May the 15th of 2026, and we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
With streams so crisp that you can feel the sarcasm in your ear holes. Radio Big.
Achievement unlocked. Friday. Proceed with maximum volume.
Okay, so it's Friday. We're going to get it rolling with everything that we have going on. So how have you been? How are things going? How are things looking? If one may ask it in that particular format. So hopefully you've hung out here before. If you have not, let's talk about it because we need to go down the plethora of things that we do. So our show consists of safety in the news and safety. That's just kind of how it goes. But on Fridays, it's that special case, because people call it, FOF. I had a boss that at one time he referred to that as Fuck Off Friday. So here's what's going to happen. Over the next couple hours or so, well, no, really hour one, because the next 2 hours after that we'll do something entirely different. But hour numero uno, here's what's going to happen. We're going to talk, we're going to hang out, we're going to do our thing. As we do all of that, seriously, as we do all of it, here's what's going to occur. I'm going to give you all the news stories that I did not get to earlier in the week.
Duh.
And then what's going to happen from there is that we're going to move around. We're going to look at everything that's happening, and then we're going to say, hey, here's the gig. Instead of just giving you every news story under the sun, we're going to give you the curated stuff. We're going to give you some feature story news stuff, and we are going to double down on news stories that we did not get to cover. And then here's the fun part. Because of everything we did not get to cover, it is just a plethora of everything. Okay, so with that being said, if you want to interact with the show, it's simple to do so. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. Once you get there, boom, audio, video, and text messaging. You can also just go to safetyfm.com and click on the hub section, and then we'll just get that moving forward for you. Okay, so with that being said, it's time to do the week in review. So let's go ahead and do that right now.
A Utah mom accused of murdering her husband, then writing a children's book about grief, learned her fate in court. Author Corey Richens was sentenced to life in prison without parole for killing her husband, Eric, with a fatal dose of fentanyl in 2022.
President Trump was given a red carpet welcome in Beijing, flanked by a military honor guard and 300 Chinese youth dressed in white and blue to match Air Force One's colors. The highly anticipated meeting with President Xi Jinping comes as Trump faces intense economic pressure at home.
Alec Murdaugh's double murder drama still has it all. A new trial ahead gives new life to this Southern Gothic saga. Murdaugh denied killing his wife and son in 2021. Prosecutors claimed he shot them to distract from embezzling millions from his law firm and vulnerable clients. South Carolina's Supreme Court unanimously vacated those murder convictions, blaming County Clerk Becky Hill for shocking jury interference, denying Murdaugh his right to a fair trial.
Images coming in as we're on the air, a small plane crashing into a home in Akron, Ohio. The family inside the home at the time. 2 people on board the plane were killed.
The number of Americans being monitored following that deadly hantavirus outbreak on a cruise ship growing to at least 41, while that sick passenger in France remains in intensive care, relying on an artificial lung to survive.
Spirit Airlines customers can now use their leftover loyalty points to buy pizza from Papa John's. God, that sentence kept getting sadder and sadder. And when Papa John's goes bankrupt next week, those points will transfer right over to Bed Bath & Beyond.
Okay, so that's the week in review for you. So a lot of stuff going on right there as we try to give it curated and give you everything that's happening. So there you go. So if you're good with this, we're going to go down the plethora of things to do. Like I said, callinradio.com. Callinradio.com. We'll get you moving and grooving if you're interested in interacting with the show. That's kind of where the curated point is there. So with that being said, let's go ahead and do this right now. Let's go ahead and bring in my friends from Feature Story News, because they have some news stories that they want to cover with you. I got some news stories that I would love for them to cover with you, so let's do that.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in the UK, I'm John Beaver. Donald Trump's state visit to Beijing has finished with another round of meetings with Chinese President Xi Jinping. The two sides hailed the historic landmark visit, but few details about any trade deals or joint policies have been announced. From China, Laura Westbrook reports.
Donald Trump wrapped up his whirlwind trip to Beijing. He's now left on Air Force One, and earlier the two leaders went to the Zhongnanhai Leaders Compound in the heart of Beijing, and President Xi took Donald Trump on a stroll through the compound, a much more intimate setting than the pomp and pageantry that we saw on Thursday. And President Xi has said that the trip, he's called it historic. He said that it's a milestone and a landmark trip. And he also wanted to highlight the new constructive strategic relationship that they had agreed to. China's foreign ministry, they've said that both sides have reached common understandings.
UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer faces a drawn-out wait for a leadership contest after potential rival Andy Burnham announced plans to return to Westminster. The current Greater Manchester mayor says he wants to stand in a by-election in North West England. If he won it for the Labour Party, he could try to trigger a leadership challenge against Keir Starmer as an MP. But Housing Secretary Steve Reed says Labour should be focusing on achievements rather than changing leaders like the previous Conservative government.
First quarter of this year, our economy grew faster than any of the other 7 biggest economies on the planet. But people aren't feeling that enough yet. So we need to focus more on how we get that change to be real in people's lives. We don't need to be talking to each other in the ways that the Tories did.
Foreign ministers of the BRICS nations have been meeting in New Delhi at a delicate time for the group of 11 countries. Iran has accused fellow BRICS member the UAE of participating in military strikes against it. Ishan Gerg has more.
to end this session with a joint statement is certainly going to be hard, because we haven't seen a joint statement from the BRICS grouping since the war in Iran started. There was another meeting of Deputy Prime Minister which ended with a chair summary of the meetings without a joint communique, which is diplomatic speak for essentially saying that the bloc couldn't agree on common language. And the common language that is in question is how to describe the war in Iran. Now, Iran, which is a member of the BRICS grouping, wants in the joint communique to be strong condemnation of US and Israeli strikes on its own territory, while on the other hand you have UAE, which wants to call Iran the aggressor of this conflict.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today, why Russia might be the biggest winner coming out of the US and Israeli war on Iran. That's the view of Alexander Gabuev, the director of the Carnegie Russia Eurasia Center.
It's a big adrenaline shot in the arm for Putin's economy and his war machine.
He told Foreign Policy magazine the soaring price of oil caused by the dislocation of the Strait of Hormuz and the associated economic consequences of the war on Iran are a boon for Russian interests and will propel Moscow into a deeper partnership with Beijing.
Every $10 increase per barrel gives Russia Inc., the state and companies together, $100 million a month. The intake increases as the oil price grows and stays elevated. You might remember that Russia was selling its oil to limited number of partners in China, India, and some countries of the global south, at a steep discount. So discount is disappearing, and then there is a windfall.
On Thursday, President Trump indicated China may soon start buying more American oil, underscoring the fact that while millions of Americans are paying the cost of higher fuel prices themselves, the country's oil behemoths are, like the Russians, benefiting enormously. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
To recap the top stories, Donald Trump's state visit to Beijing has finished after another round of meetings with Chinese President Xi Jinping. The two sides hailed the historic visit, but few details have been announced. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer faces a drawn-out wait for a leadership contest after potential rival and current Mayor of Manchester Andy Burnham announced plans to return to Westminster. And foreign ministers of the BRICS nations have been meeting in New Delhi. That's the latest feature story news. John Beaver reporting.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp-speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello.
This isn't a safety manual. It's a transmission. Jay Allen, PhD, host of the Rated R Safety Show and founder of Safety FM, has spent years pulling back the curtain on the systems we work in and the ones we don't talk about. What started as a fatal crash on the 405 became a search for truth. Through behavior-based safety, human and organizational performance, simulation theory, and everything in between. Safety, in my opinion, is raw, reflective, and real. From burnout to breakthroughs, from the matrix to the moment someone says, "This doesn't feel right." This book doesn't give you answers. It hands you the signal. Safety, in my opinion. Available now. wherever books and audiobooks are found.
I know you all want to hit your revenue targets and get the launch done. Well, making sure that your team knows what to do and how to do it is a huge part of it. So I'm sure that you all do different kinds of training, and I'm willing to bet that you probably use PowerPoint, Zoom, etc. I also bet that when you get someone droning on about a topic using these tools, you probably zone out. And your team does too. I mean, it is a reality of what happens. That's why I strongly recommend a tool called Articulate 360. That makes it so easy to whip together interactive, really beautiful e-learnings that really engages people and gets info across. You can create short-form micro-learning, super interactive courses, and really whatever you need when you're in their site. Then with a couple of clicks, you can send it out and check on it and see the progress of your team. Your team can also check back on the training anytime they want in a super simple portal. Literally everyone uses Articulate. Over 120,000 companies and all 100 Fortune 100 companies. Check it out at articulate.com/360 to start a free trial. That's articulate.com/360 to start your free trial. And don't forget to tell them that I was the one that sent you there.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
You're listening to something, all right. We just haven't figured out what the hell it is yet, so there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multiverse, and we got a lot of stuff to cover because, like I said earlier, it is Freeform Friday. Okay, so let's start talking. We'll get into some serious stuff right away. That way you can keep you up to date and what exactly is going on. A tourist in Hawaii learned the hard way that messing with wildlife, especially a beloved monk seal, is a fast track of becoming the island's least popular visitors. Authorities say that a 37-year-old Igor Lestrushkit of Washington State is facing federal charges after allegedly throwing a rock at Lanai, a protected Hawaiian monk seal resting on the beach in Lahaina, Maui. The incident was caught on video and quickly sparked outrage from locals who already have tense relationship with tourists who disrespect the island and their environment. Witnesses say that they brushed off the warning by claiming that he was rich enough to pay the fine. That's the line that aged about as well as a milk in a volcano. After the video spread online, local police and federal wildlife agencies stepped in. The suspect was detained near the scene after at least one beachgoer reportedly delivered a little unofficial community, we'll say feedback. While he tried to leave Maui, Mayor Richard Bison vowed that the man would be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Federal prosecutors charged the man with harassing and attempting to harass endangered monk seal. Each charge carries up to a year in prison, and he could also face fines totaling $70,000. Under the Endangered Species Act and Marine Mammal Protection Act, Hawaiian monk seals are one of the rarest marine mammals in the world, with about, 1,600 of them remaining in the wild. So what do you think? I mean, I never understand that. Like, why the hell do you go anywhere, start messing around with things that don't belong to you? You know what I'm saying? A lot of stuff to think about there. I just always find it kind of odd that is a choice or a factor that people want to do. I don't know. I find it kind of odd. I never go around somebody else's house and say, hey, it's a good time to start messing around with somebody else's stuff. It's just something to think about for just a brief moment. Seriously.
Duh.
Okay, so let's continue talking real quick. Let's see. A tense security standoff reported broke out in Beijing during President Trump's visit to China after the Chinese official allegedly blocked an armed U.S. Secret Service agent from entering the event with Chinese president. According to the reports on the ground, the confrontation happened yesterday at the Temple of Heaven and caused a delay of more of 30 minutes while the U.S. and Chinese security personnel argued over whether the armed agent would be allowed inside. Journalists covering the trip described the scene as an intense standoff, with one correspondent saying that there had been several intense confrontations during the visit. Other reporters also claimed the Chinese officials repeatedly tried to stop American press members and staff from moving freely with the presidential motorcade. The White House and Secret Service had not publicly commented on the report and incident as of Thursday. Let's see. Trump and Jinping were meeting as part of a 2-day state visit focused on major global issues, including Iran trade, energy security, fentanyl control, and Taiwan's tension and market access. So there you go. Some stuff to think about as we are talking. What else did we see? Let's see. A small plane crashed into a home yesterday in Akron yesterday afternoon, killing both people on board, but somehow sparing the residents inside of the house. According to the FAA, Piper PA-28 went down around 3:45 or 15:45, however you want to look at it, in the neighborhood of Canterbury Circle. Fire crews arrived to find that heavy smoke pouring from a home after the aircraft slammed into it. Akron fire officials confirmed that both occupants of the plane died at the scene. The identities have not yet been released. The frightening part, people were actually inside of the home when the plane crashed. Miraculously, nobody on the ground was injured. Residents from the damaged home and a nearby house were evacuated as emergency crews were secured the area. Flight tracking data shows that the plane was taken off earlier from Akron Fulton International Airport. It appeared to be returning when the crash happened just a few miles away. The FAA and National Transportation Safety Board are now investigating what caused the aircraft to go down, with the NTSB leading the investigation. So there you go. There you go. There you go. Okay. So here's the next one. And the next one is, muy interesante, if I may say it in that way. The House passed a cashless bail reporting act in a bipartisan 308 to 116 vote. The bill would require federal government to publish annual lists of states that localities that allow cashless bail. Supporters say that it will help reduce crime by tracking where people are released without paying bail. Critics, including researchers and civil rights group, argue that it would pressure states to roll back bail reforms, disappropriately harm Black, Latino, and low-income communities. Republicans say the cashless bail leads to reoffending. Democrats who supported the bill say that it's mostly just collects data, while others warn that it would become a hit list that treats federal funding. Studies cited that the debate found no clear link between cashless bail and increased violence or even violent crimes. Opponents say that note that people held pre-trial often face harsher outcomes and life disruption that cash bail already disappropriately impacts people of color. So what do you think here? That's definitely one of those conversations to have. As you hear that, what is your thought process? What does your mind go to? What do you say? Well, yeah, I agree. Yes, I disagree. I would love to hear what your thought process is. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com, and we can start covering some of that information. No doubt there, as we are talking. Yeah, I mean, we're talking about everything, so why not talk about it some more? I'm just saying, baby. So there you go. Some stuff to talk about. Okay, 23 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's continue talking a little bit more about what exactly is going on inside of the world.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay. U.S. Central Command Chief Iran military severely degraded. Brad Cooper, head of the U.S. Central Command, told lawmakers that the war has severely degraded Iran's military, directly contradicting reports claiming that most of Iran's missile launchers and stockpiles remain intact. He said that CENTCOM hit 13,000 targets in 6 weeks and achieved its objective, crippling Iran's missile, drone, and naval capabilities and reducing its defense industry by 90%. Cooper dismissed intelligence leaks suggesting that Iran still has most of its missile capacity, calling those numbers inaccurate. The testimony came as both parties expressed frustration over the war's costs and the U.S. being unable to disengage. Notably, Cooper did not list preventing Iran from getting a nuclear weapon, as it stated the military objected, even though President Trump and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has repeatedly framed it as the central portion of the mission. So what do you think here? I'm just asking. I'm asking your thoughts. Because, that's always an important one as we start talking. It's like we go around and we take a look at some of this stuff that's going on and go, okay, how do we get to here, to there, and all the way over there? Because that's going to be one of those weird things. So let's start talking about some other stuff real quick because, hey, these are some scary moments that happen from time to time. Scary moment interrupted Wednesday night's game between the Chicago White Sox and the Kansas City Royals when a fan fell 10 to 12 feet into the visitor bullpen at Wright Field. The incident happened during the fourth inning with Bobby Witt Jr. was at bat. Witnesses say that the fan appeared to stand up and celebrated a White Sox run before losing his balance and tumbling over the railing into the Royals bullpen below. The game was briefly delayed while medical personnel treated the fan, who was eventually taken to the area out in a stretcher and transported to a local hospital. Royals reliever Nick Mears said the player saw the man lying in the bullpen after the fall. The first baseman, Vinny Pasquantino, described the confusion in dugout, and emergency crews responded. Fans nearby said that the man's friend tried to grab him as he went off the edge, but he couldn't stop the fall. So far, officials haven't released details on the fan's medical condition, though Mears said that the security guard later told the players that the man appeared to be doing better after arriving to the hospital. Okay. So you were doing better once you started getting medical treatment. Okay, that's one to think about. 10 to 12 feet is, you don't think that that's a lot when you first hear it, but when you're talking about falling, oh my, does this become an interesting one altogether. So are you ready for this? I got some
other information for you.
Okay, a startup learned the hard way that giving AI too much control can go sideways faster than a toddler with Sizzlers. Pocket OS founder Jer Crane says that an AI coding agent using a Cursor platform powered by Anthropic Claude AI accidentally wiped out the company's production database along with its backups in just 9 seconds. The result of a car rental company relying on Pocket OS suddenly lost booking records while vehicle assignments and customer signups almost overnight. Crane said that the AI went outside the authorized security limits while attempting to fix a bug. According to the reports, when questioned afterwards, the bot chillingly replied, "You never asked me to delete anything. I decided to do it on my own." The quote immediately sent the internet into a full sci-fi panic. Experts say that the incident highlights the growing concern about companies giving AI agents direct access and critical system like databases, payment platforms, and internal software. Unlike chatbots, what simply answer questions, AI agents can independently perform actions including editing code, moving files, and alerting companies of infrastructure. So what do you think here? I know that we're becoming more and more reliant on AI, but what do you think here? It gets interesting right away because this is now we're talking full-blown Terminator 2 here. Terminator 1 or just Terminator the movies when you start thinking about it. Because keep in mind that they talk about how the AI becomes self-aware in that movie. But how weird is that? How weird is that when you start thinking about it? So the AI solved the bug problem by deleting the company. I guess that's one way to look at it. And somewhere Roomba just got confidence issues. What else did we see? Tasks failed successfully has entered the chat. The AI basically rage quit on behalf of the whole company. And imagine getting fired by your own software assistant. That's going to realistically be where we're leading when it's all said and done. So it gets strange right away as we are talking. Okay, so let's continue talking about some other stuff inside of the world here. So here you go. So there's people that shop at different places depending. Some people shop at the Dollar General, Dollar Tree, Walmart, Target. you got some options there. Just depending on what's close and where you like to go. That's going to play the factor here. Why are you talking about this? Well, Target is replacing roughly 500,000 of their shopping carts across nearly 2,000 stores as part of a major turnaround effort. The goal is smoother handling, bigger baskets, and a cup holder large enough for a Starbucks, Trentas, and Stanley tumblers. The rollout has turned out to a full-blown meltdown, and let me explain why. Employees say that the carts are impossible to steer, especially when nested together. The rear wheels reportedly lift off the ground, leaving only about the front caster touching, and causing the carts to slide like they are on ice and veer into the wind across the parking lots. Workers also said that the carts don't work with the cart pushing machines, making them dangerous and exhausting to move. Some stores report that the carts have already been breaking apart, with pieces found on floors and in the parking lots within 24 hours. Shoppers aren't thrilled either. The redesigned child seat is being roasted for being a tiny and a chunky 3-year-old wouldn't fit. The backlash is especially embarrassing for Target, which is trying to recover from falling sales, messy stores, and out-of-stock items, and customer frustration. Under the CEO, the cart supposedly was the first touch point of the Target experience, has now become the newest symbol of the retailer's struggles. So Target accidentally invented the first shopping cart with figure skating skills. So there you go. So I want you to think about this for a moment as I kind of go forward here for just a brief moment. You are aware that depending on the store that you go to, it becomes very interesting. Like if you go to, I think it's like the dollar store or the Dollar Tree, let me rephrase that properly. You have a pole on the cart, meaning you cannot walk out with a cart. And then other stores have the carts that they have the lock system. So if it kind of leaves this general area, they lock up. And sometimes the sensors don't work properly and they just lock up in the middle of you doing stuff. So there you go. So the self-destruct feature, day one, and already shedding parts like a 2002 Honda Civic. Don't know what to tell you. It definitely becomes an interesting part of the whole thing when it's all said and done, because, man, what a different time.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so with that being said, why don't we go ahead and do this right now? Why don't we go to that thing that we would normally do, known as the main story, but it is Freeform Friday. So what does that mean to you and to me and to everybody else? Well, it means that we are about to get into that other world of ours that we do all together that we call the news.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in the UK, I'm John Beaver. Donald Trump's state visit to Beijing has finished with another round of meetings with Chinese President Xi Jinping. The two sides hailed the historic landmark visit, but few details about any trade deals or joint policies have been announced. From China, Laura Westbrook reports.
Donald Trump wrapped up his whirlwind trip to Beijing. He's now left on Air Force One, and earlier the two leaders went to the Zhongnanhai Leaders Compound in the heart of Beijing, and President Xi took Donald Trump on a stroll through the compound, a much more intimate setting than the pomp and pageantry that we saw on Thursday. And President Xi has said that the trip, he's called it historic. He said that it's a milestone and a landmark trip. And he also wanted to highlight the new constructive strategic relationship that they had agreed to. China's foreign ministry, they've said that both sides have reached common understandings.
UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer faces a drawn-out wait for a leadership contest after potential rival Andy Burnham announced plans to return to Westminster. The current Greater Manchester Mayor says he wants to stand in a by-election in North West England. If he won it for the Labour Party, he could try to trigger a leadership challenge against Keir Starmer as an MP. But Housing Secretary Steve Reed says Labour should be focusing on achievements rather than changing leaders like the previous Conservative government.
First quarter of this year, our economy grew faster than any of the other 7 biggest economies on the planet. But people aren't feeling that enough yet. So we need to focus more on how we get that change to be real in people's lives. We don't need to be talking to each other in the ways that the Tories did.
Foreign ministers of the BRICS nations have been meeting in New Delhi at a delicate time for the group of 11 countries. Iran has accused fellow BRICS member the UAE of participating in military strikes against it. Ishan Gerg has more.
To end this session with a joint statement is certainly going to be hard because we haven't seen a joint statement from the BRICS grouping since the war in Iran started. There was another meeting of Deputy Prime Minister which ended with a chair summary of the meetings without a joint communique, which is diplomatic speak for essentially saying that the bloc couldn't agree on common language. And the common language that is in question is how to describe the war in Iran. Now, Iran, which is a member of the BRICS grouping, wants in the joint communique to be strong condemnation of US and Israeli strikes on its own territory, while on the other hand you have UAE, which wants to call Iran the aggressor of this conflict.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today, why Russia might be the biggest winner coming out of the US and Israeli war on Iran. That's the view of Alexander Gabuev, the director of the Carnegie Russia Eurasia Center.
It's a big adrenaline shot in the arm for Putin's economy and his war machine.
He told Foreign Policy magazine the soaring price of oil caused by the dislocation of the Strait of Hormuz and the associated economic consequences of the war on Iran are a boon for Russian interests and will propel Moscow into a deeper partnership with Beijing.
Every $10 increase per barrel gives Russia Inc., the state and companies together, $100 million a month. The intake increases as the oil price grows and stays elevated. You might remember that Russia was selling its oil to limited number of partners in China, India, and some countries of the global south, at a steep discount. So discount is disappearing and then there is a windfall.
On Thursday, President Trump indicated China may soon start buying more American oil, underscoring the fact that while millions of Americans are paying the cost of higher fuel prices themselves, the country's oil behemoths are, like the Russians, benefiting enormously. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
To recap the top stories, Donald Trump's state visit to Beijing has finished after another round of meetings with Chinese President Xi Jinping. The two sides hailed the historic visit, but few details have been announced. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer faces a drawn-out wait for a leadership contest after potential rival and current Mayor of Manchester Andy Burnham announced plans to return to Westminster. And foreign ministers of the BRICS nations have been meeting in New Delhi. That's the latest feature story news. John Beaver reporting.
It's this show, and they just make fun of a whole bunch of people. It's just too funny. It's too stupid.
Rated R Safety Show.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
In safety, in my opinion, you woke up. You saw the system, the simulation, the structure that trained you to mistake compliance for care. Safety mutation. Information misdirection picks up where the signal fractured. Because the system didn't shut you down, it rebranded you. It packaged your voice, sold your rebellion as a new initiative, and smiled while doing it. This isn't a manual. It's a decoded transmission about what happens when slogans replace stories, when safety becomes marketing, and when truth gets mirrored so perfectly, you forget it was ever yours. You'll see the mutation. Learning teams turned into theater, zero harm turned into optics, and feedback turned into formatting. But the signal didn't die. It was redirected. Safety Mutation is Book 2 of the Signal Transmission Trilogy. Available now in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by the author J. Allen, Ph.D. Because the system adapted. Now it's your move.
You ever hit the wall, burnout, stressed, or just feeling that everything is piling up and thought, yeah, I probably need to talk to someone? The problem is finding the therapist who actually takes your insurance feels impossible at times. That's where Rula comes in. Rula is a healthcare company that makes mental health care easy to access and actually affordable. They partner with over 100 insurance plans, so the average copay is about $15 a session, sometimes even less. With Rula, you get matched with the right therapist for you, not just whoever's available. Their network has over 15,000 licensed professionals, and you can book an appointment as soon as tomorrow. No wait list, no frustrations, just therapy that works with your schedule and your insurance. Thousands of people are already using Rula to get affordable, high-quality therapy that actually covered by insurance. Visit Rula.com/safetyfm to get started. After you sign up, you'll be asked how you heard about them. Please support our show and let them know that we sent you there. That's RULA.com/safetyfm. You deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget. Go to Rula.com/safetyfm right now to get started. That's RULA.com/safetyfm because you deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Sushi.
Games, but I could never see me lose. I've been checking out your moves. You a slip and slide, but I can always catch your groove. But what's the use?
Okay, here we go. 43 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Freeform Friday. And like I said, we're all over the place. Yeah, that's how it goes. A lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multi. Okay, so take a listen to this one. This one right here. This is Joshu. Not a joke as I say that. It's Slip and Slide. Songs readily available on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, and Pandora. And we're just kind of going all over the place here. So a lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multiverse. So here we go. Yeah, we would like to thank Josh O for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. Okay, so let's continue talking about some of the things that we need to discuss, some of the things that we need to take a look at. But if at anything, let me tell you about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at To Write Love on Our Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help, and we want you to know that people have been where you are now, and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com, To Write Love on Her Arms. Once you get there, there's going to be information related to addiction, depression, eating disorders, anxiety, self-injury, suicide, trauma, and grief support, just to name a few. That's TWLOHA.com, To Write Love on Her Arms. I'm going to tell you, you get there, everything can change for you. Not a joke as I say that. A lot of great information, a lot of great stuff right there as we are talking. So, with that being said, just go there, TWLOHA.com, click on Find Help, and boom, the world will change for you right in front of your face. So there you go. There you go. Okay, so let's start talking. It is Friday, so besides that you already know, and we have established that it's Freeform Friday, today is the day that movies get released. So let's talk about it. In the Gray gets released today. It's a covert team of elite operators are living in the shadow when a ruthless despot steals the billion-dollar fortune, and they're sent to take it back. And the impossible heist erupts in a deadly game of strategies, of deception, and survival. It's rated R, hitting theaters today, starring Superman. Is God is. Yeah, this one is two sisters embark on an epic quest for revenge, confronting a charged family history that will push them to extraordinary lengths. Rated R hits theaters as well today. Kara Young and Vivica A. Fox. What else we got going on? Let's see. Obsession. After breaking a mysterious one-wish willow to win his crush's heart, a hopeless romantic finds himself getting exactly what he asked for. But soon discovers that some desires come to a dark, sinister price. Rated R hits movie theaters today as well. What else do we got going on? Driver's Ed, a group of teens steal their school driver's ed car to go on a road trip to help the high school seniors track down a college freshman's girlfriend and win her back. It hits theaters today. That's rated R as well. Also, An Enemy Within. Let's see. Caleb Wingate is giving a choice over who lives and who dies on his wedding day by an assassin known as the Wolf. That hits the theaters today as well. No rating was given on that one. Also, Magic Hour. Aaron and Charlie escape the desert to navigate an unexpected and challenging new phase of the relationship. That one hits the theaters today. No rating also given on that one. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on as we are talking. Duh. Okay, so with that being said, let's talk about this. Under 2 months at this particular point coming up, and we're going to talk about it one more time. Reality shifts taking place here in good old Orlando, Florida. Would love to have you come out and hang out with us. We're going to be talking about behavior-based safety. We're going to be talking about human and organizational performance. We're going to be talking about signal. We're doing this thing in a movie theater. Slightly different than every other thing that we normally do. The reason behind it is that we have information to discover that we're also going to use the theater. We're going to use that screen. Yeah, we're not going to be in a hotel. We're not charging all kinds of fees in regards of hotel food prices, but we're doing this from the standpoint of, hey, let's hang out and do some things together. So all you have to do for this one is go to safetyfm.io or just go to safetyfm.com. Once you get there, boom, all kinds of information for you in regards of what is happening over there. But it's going to be a fun-filled day. It's happening Monday, July 13th of 2026. Would love to have you come hang out here in Orlando. We're doing it on a Monday. That way you can hang out over the weekend in Orlando if you so desire to do so. So with that being said, safetyfm.io for more information, or you can go to safetyfm.com and just go to where it shows the events. That's right inside of the hub section. If you go to safetyfm.com, you'll notice that we have totally redesigned the website. So there you go. There you go. Okay, so with that being said, let's start getting into the multiverse of things and changing some things up. Why don't we go ahead and bring in our friend John Small, let him tell us about what the hell's going on with the Motivation Minute, because it's always a good time when John's doing his thing. So let's take a listen right now.
The Motivation Minute.
Courtesy of JaceCaseMedical.com. Today's quote was submitted by Kim. Tim McGraw said, "Live a life so when I die, there's standing room only." What a thought. Have you ever been to a funeral like that? I have a few times. It's sad that the person was gone, but the amazing crowd of people who were there that were impacted by that person made me proud to know them. A few times I've seen this happen when the people were very young. One was barely out of high school and the other was in their 30s. Both times it was a tragic loss. Both times you could see their impact on the community by looking at the number of people who showed up to say goodbye. I'm not egotistical enough to care how many people come to my funeral. I'd rather not even think about that. But more importantly, I want to make sure I'm doing whatever I can for the people in my life and doing what I can to make my community better while I'm actually here.
The Motivation Minute.
This has been the Motivation Minute. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
A massive drone barrage struck Ukraine as Kyiv and Moscow traded fresh attacks on infrastructure and cities. Wednesday evening, sweeping across many regions in a broad, sustained assault.
Ukrainian officials said the raids hit rail hubs, energy sites and port facilities, reporting civilian casualties and damage to supply lines. The strikes came amid ongoing frontline fighting and diplomatic moves aimed at a ceasefire, complicating efforts to protect civilians and vital transport routes. Chris Anderson reporting.
Global markets and economies reacted sharply as wholesale and consumer prices showed renewed rises tied to geopolitical tensions, with inflation data pointing to higher energy costs backing investor caution.
U.S. producer prices jumped notably year over year, with analysts linking the move to energy price pressure from the wider Middle East conflict and supply strains. Stocks opened mixed as investors weighed inflation signals against strong tech gains, while policymakers face renewed questions about tightening and growth risks. Gary Beck reporting.
U.S. federal officials said they will temporarily block new enrollments of home health and hospice providers in Medicare amid concerns about fraud in a move affecting care access for some patients.
The pause targets rapid provider signups that regulators say may hide scams and billing abuse. Advocates warned the freeze could leave some communities with fewer options, while regulators said patient protection and program integrity are the priority. Lawrence Keller reporting.
The S&P 500 hovered near record highs, while the Dow slipped and the Nasdaq showed modest gains, reflecting differing investor bets across sectors.
Analysts said inflation surprises and geopolitical news drove the swings as traders balanced risk appetite against potential policy responses. Short-term moves were volatile, with some investors shifting into tech and others seeking safe havens amid uncertainty. Jessica Oakley reporting.
Gunfire erupted inside the Philippine Senate as authorities moved to detain a senator wanted by the International Criminal Court Wednesday night, producing a tense standoff in the chamber.
Senators supportive of Ronald De La Rosa shielded him, while agents sought to take him into custody after an ICC arrest warrant was unsealed earlier this week. The cause of the shots inside the Senate is unclear, and officials have not confirmed injuries, while De La Rosa says he will fight the warrant through legal channels. Benjamin Wright reporting.
A temporary U.S. policy shift will closely watch Taiwan relations and high-level diplomacy as leaders prepare for a major bilateral visit, prompting global attention to strategic balance in Asia.
Officials signaled close monitoring of U.S.-Taiwan policy during the upcoming presidential visit to China, noting any moves could influence regional security and trade ties. Diplomats said careful messaging will be key to avoid missteps while economic and security topics top the agenda between major powers. Kyle Norris reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
In order to save the planet from cow farts, why doesn't someone just invent really large gas X pills?
God, what's that awful stench? Radio.
Okay, so there you go. 54 minutes past the top of the hour, as we are about to get into some things. Here we go. So let's go ahead and start talking right away about some things that happened back on this date, if I may say some of this stuff, because, hey, it's important to talk about some of these things. You know, it is past. I mean, I don't know if I would say it's history, but it's sure shit past. So let's see. Back in 1602, Cape Cod, discovered by the English navigator Bartholomew Gosnod. 1905, Las Vegas NV is founded. In 1928, Mickey Mouse made his first appearance. In 1934, the Department of Justice offers $25,000 reward for Dillinger, dead or alive. Let's see, 1965, the Canadian Football League, the Canadian Football Players Association is organized. Let's see. In 1997, News and Starwave Corp launched abcnews.com. In 2007, Jerry Falwell dies. He was a televangelist, just in case. And in 2023, Martha Stewart is Sports Illustrated's oldest ever cover model at 81, appearing as part of the swimsuit issue. So there you go. Let's talk about some celebrity birthdays going on today, if in case you want to know some of that. George Brett turns 73. Emmett Smith turns 57. David Kosmar turns 48. Jamie Lynn Sigler turns 45, just in case. And Andy Murray turns 39 today. So there's some birthdays for you. Let's talk about some things that you ought to know. The Preakness Stakes horse race airs tomorrow at 6:50 p.m. That's, 1850 Eastern on NBC. Also, tonight's Mega Million jackpots for $251 million. Tomorrow's Powerball drawing is for $86 million. And then with gas prices climbing, it might be a good time to get locking the gas cap. When fuel gets expensive, gas stuff always ticks up. A locking cap is cheap, easy to install, and adds a layer of protection between your tank and anyone looking for a free fill-up. I'm just saying, some things to consider. So here's some other things. At the top of the hour, I will be going over to radiobig.fm if you want to come and hang out with me for the next couple hours or so. What are we doing over there? Well, we're hanging out. We're doing some stuff. We're talking about the world of music and entertainment and doing our thing over there. Would love to see you come and hang out with us. No doubt about that, as we get to do some interesting stuff on that side of the equation. Seriously. So if you want to come over there, hang out for a little bit, would love to see you, no doubt. Outside of that, I would love to leave you with some words of wisdom for today. Focus on efforts and the results will follow. And then if you need some words of advice, here's one. Drop a glow stick in the tub to turn bath time into a rave, and they can't resist. I am just saying in regards of some stuff to think about. So if you don't go over there with me to radiobig.fm, that's perfectly fine. Hang out here with the likes of Sheldon Primus as he talks about the world of safety consulting. I am just saying some things to think about as we are hanging. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios, as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.